We all had a dream to fly, to have a career in the sky. Perhaps most of us didn't realize that our dream to fly for a living would involve being a mathematician? Okay, 6,624.7 total minus 1,164.8 night equals 7 minus 8, borrow the 1, or being a lawyer. Okay, rest period means a continuous period determined prospectively during which the flight crew member is free from all restraint by the certificate holder, including freedom from present responsibility. What the Keep the dream alive. Automate all that other stuff with LogTen Pro, the professional pilot's choice.
Hello, everyone. Just going live here. We've got Thomas and Heather with us. Thank you so much, everybody who's here joining us. I'm in my vehicle, as you can see. Things did not pan out the way they should this morning. But we're live, and we're looking forward to taking you all through widgets and Auto Duty, the latest update in LogTen Pro. My name's Paul Edney. I have been working for Cordine for, 15 years or so. And I'm the VP of Marketing and Sales. I'm excited to be here with you. It'd be awesome if you could post a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We're always excited to get comments and questions, and whatever comes up that you need to reach out about, please feel free to do so in the comment section. So looking forward to hearing where everybody's tuning in from. And I'll let Thomas and Heather introduce themselves. Thomas, why don't you start? Oh.
Hey everybody, I'm Thomas. I am the manager of customer service here at Cordine. I've been with the company for about 6 years now, and I may have talked to some of you via email. So glad everybody's here, and we're excited to show you widgets.
All right, Heather.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am the VP of Service and Operations for Cordine. Been here for about 8 years. Most definitely have talked to some of you. Hopefully, if not, hello. Nice to meet you. And looking forward to showing you some new exciting things that we have.
Right on. Well, just to let everybody know, this will be recorded as well, so we'll get a message out to everybody afterwards. If you happen not to be here, you can still watch it later and tell all your friends about it. So without further ado, let's talk about widgets. Or not. Awesome. Okay, I think because of the tech issues that we're having, we're going to actually start with Thomas. So Thomas, I will share your screen. You just need to unmute yourself. And there we go. Let's fire away.
All right, thanks, Paul. So we just want to show you a quick representation of how to add widgets and the 4 widgets that we've put into the latest release of Griffon. So you can see my iPad here is showing the widget screen, the today screen. This is the normal screen. When you slide to the right, the today view, that's what Apple calls it, the today view. It's the same on your iPhone. When you slide your home screen all the way to the right, you get the today view. This is where you can add widgets and where you can view all your widgets. When you're in the today view, if you hold a blank space until all your apps start jiggling, I think Apple calls it jiggle mode, you can see that there is a plus in the top left corner of my screen. On your iPhone, you might see it on the top right. If you hit that plus button, you will be able to add widgets. And if you scroll down, you will see there's a list of all your apps that have available widgets. If you select LogTen Pro, you can see we have 4 widgets to choose from. There's a next flight widgets, which will display just some basic stats about the next flight scheduled in your logbook. There's a plan widget, and this is an editable widget. You can display either your limit groups, your currency groups, or your certificate groups. There's a plan overview widget, and this is all your limits, currencies, and certificates in one larger widget. And there's a smart group widget. This is also an editable widget, and you can choose to display any smart group that is in your LogTen Pro logbook. So you can see here that I have the 4 widgets already showing in this logbook. At the top, I have the plan overview widget. In the middle left, I have the plan widget, which is edited to display currency group. In the middle right, I have the next flight widget. You may see that this widget displays new flight, and that is because if you do not have any scheduled flights in your logbooks, this widget will actually display new flight, and by one tap, you can edit this to add a new flight. And I'll show you that in a second. And on the bottom left, you can see the smart group widget. And I have this is an editable widget, and I have this edited to show PIC turbine. So these widgets will display the data that is in your LogTen Pro app without having to go into your app. So the plan widgets display data from the plan tab, and if you click these, you will go into the radar plan tab in your LogTen Pro app. The smart group widget will take you into the radar analyze page in the app, and the new flight or next flight widget will take you directly into the logbook tab, and either to that flight if it's next flight, or we'll create a new flight if that's what your widget is showing. So let's look at that one. Let's start with the middle right widget, which is now displaying new flight. With one click, I can now open LogTen Pro, and you can see it's already opened up to a new flight on today. And you can go through and you can add a new flight, let's say Chicago to Cleveland. And I'm going to change this to tomorrow because I want to show the next flight widget in the app for you. And I'm going to have scheduled times of 1200 UTC to 1330. So in a little bit, this widget will update to show next flight. And sometimes widgets take a little bit. I want to show you the other widgets while that is all working in the background. So let's go to the top large widget here. This is the plan overview widget. When I single click that widget, I go directly into the radar plan tab of LogTen Pro. You can see that these widgets are the currency and limit and certificate groups are all listed here. If I go back to the widgets, you can see the currency widget in the middle left. If I click that, it takes me to the same place because these are displaying the same information. One is just displaying everything in your plan tab. The other is just displaying what you specified as an editable widget. And then if you click the smart group widget, it takes you into the plan analyze tab and takes you directly to that smart group. So let me show you what I mean by editable widgets. And you can see my next flight widget has now updated to show that flight I created. It's showing my next flight is tomorrow. It's showing from Chicago to Cleveland, and it's showing time, a countdown of time to departure, 17 hours and 48 minutes. And if I click that widget, it takes me directly into this flight. Now I want to show you the editable widgets. The top widget and the middle right widget, the plan overview widget and the next flight widget are not editable, but the plan widget, which is the middle left, is editable, and you can edit these by long pressing on the widget. Whoop, that was too long. Long pressing on the widget till you get the edit widget screen. And now you can choose whether you want this widget to display your currency groups, your limit groups, or your certificates. Paul, are you guys seeing the me editing the widgets here in the home screen?
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. So, okay. Let me try opening my QuickTime player again. Apologize for the technical difficulties here, everybody.
I actually got back up and running. If I'd be happy to show installation of widgets on iPhone while you're working on that, Thomas.
Please, yes, that would be great.
Yeah, great. Just share your screen and I'll add it, Heather.
Got it.
There we go. All right, switching over to Heather. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for bearing with us. This is the silliest technical issue that is apparently going back and forth between us. But here is a widgets view on iPhone. I've got an extra page here on my iPhone that I'm dedicating just to LogTen widgets, because I don't know if you guys are like me, but I have a large number of apps installed on my phone. And I like being able to see the LogTen widgets exclusively and by themselves, so that I could always have this sort of in my hand and ready to look at a glance whenever I need to. Before I proceed with continuing the widgets from where Thomas left off, I do want to say that there is another place that you can install widgets on your iPhone if you want. And if you swipe all the way to the right, that's in the Today view here on iPhone. You can scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll be able to see a little edit button. So I'm going to tap on the edit button. And then it's going to, as Thomas referred to earlier, it's going to put the apps into jiggle mode. And I'm going to tap on the plus button to search for widgets. You can look alphabetically, which is kind of nice, so that you can see of all of the apps that you have installed, which widgets or which ones have widgets that you can install that are available. And here's LogTen here. So we've got the 4 widgets that are available. Let's say I want to add the plan overview that monitors limits, currency, and certificates all at a glance. And it's going to put it down at the bottom, which can be moved in different orders here. But I don't know about you guys. It's a little bit cumbersome for me to constantly be switching over to the far right-hand screen in the Today view. And then if I tried to select these widgets and move them over into the positioning that I wanted, it rearranges all of my other apps, which was also cumbersome as well. So I prefer to add to a new page in the home screen. But if we tap on done, we can now scroll back to where I have my widgets. And Thomas, just let me know if you want me to continue with showing downloading multiple LogTen Pro widgets, or if you had something else that you're in the middle of showing.
No, why don't you go ahead and show that? I'm back up and running, so when you're done, I can go ahead and talk about the status messages.
Excellent technology success. Okay, so as you guys noticed, some of our widgets allow views of multiple things. For example, the plan mini widget can show you either limits, currency, or certificates. The default is limits. But if you wanted to view the mini widget view of either of those, you can download multiples of that mini plan widget and then stack them on top of each other, which is a really nifty trick. So to get into widget editing and adding mode, I'm going to long press on my screen, and then the plus button in the upper left-hand corner will take me into widgets dialog. I'm going to search for LogTen, and the mini plan is available there. I'm going to go ahead and add one, and let's do another just because we're here so we can see all three. So we've got 3 mini widgets here. Pressing a long press on any of them, you can see the options for editing widget or editing the home screen. If you tap on edit widget, it can now show you which radar type group you want to see. So we have one for limits. Let's select one for certificate. And then in this one, let's select currency. Right now we've got 3 mini plan widgets showing all of our currency groups. It is taking up a little bit of space. So we can see that pushed the plan overview, which takes up an entire vertical section of your iPhone, over to the right here. Let's clean this up a little bit and say we want to see all of these plan mini widgets in the same stack. So I'm going to press and long hold on one of these and go to edit home screen so I can move them around. And then I'm going to drag and drop each of these on top of one another so that when I press done, I can now scroll up and down to quickly see currency, certificates, and limits. For certificates, as Thomas already showed you guys, when you tap on any of these widgets, it'll take you to the appropriate section in your logbook. So tapping on that, you can see first class medical is expiring in 14 days, and then you'll be able to do what you deem necessary to get that updated. Let's see, so that is an example of how we stack multiple of LogTen widgets on top of one another. Smart groups is very similar. You might have more than one smart group that you want to see in the widget view. So you do the same thing, you just add multiples, however many smart groups you want to see. It will always default to the one that's sorted on top. And then you go into edit widget mode to be able to select the one you want, and you can stack them if you like. And turning this over then back to Thomas.
All right, thanks, Heather. All right, now that my screen is back up and running, I wanted to talk about the status messages. If you look at the top left of my screen, you'll see that I'm showing the plan overview widget, the large one, is showing green, all good, yellow for warning, and 1 certificate alert. And I want to talk about how LogTen Pro gets these status messages. And it comes directly from the colors in your radar tab. So if I click on this status message, you will see that the instrument group, so the currency group, let me go to this one, sorry. There we go. So now you can see that my medical is showing red, the instrument is showing yellow, and my 28-day, which is my limit group, is showing green. That corresponds to the colors that are showing in the widget. So whatever you have your color threshold set to in your groups is what the widget will display. What do I mean by color thresholds? Well, you can go into this instrument group. Let's look at this middle one, this instrument group. It's showing yellow. Your currency and limit groups, you can edit the color thresholds. You can see the green, the yellow, and the red dots here. This group is set to show anything under 180 as green up to 30, and then anything 30 and below is made to show yellow, and anything 5 and below is made to show red. You can see on the left of the group here that the 16 in the circle, this group, my instrument currency has 16 days left, and as per my color threshold settings, it's between 30 and 5, so it is showing yellow. It works the same with your limit groups, and you can edit these. You can see below 100 is green, below 30 is yellow, and below 16 is red for this 28-day limit group. The group is showing 92.4, and that's why it's showing green, all good. Certificates are a little bit of a different beast. Those are not editable. The certificate information is taken directly from the certificate tab in LogTen Pro, and it uses the expiration date. So if I go back in here, every certificate is hard-coded to be below 90 days is going to be yellow, below 30 days is going to show red. One last thing I want to show you about these color thresholds is that you will see down here at the bottom, I have a tailwheel day landing currency group that is expired. But if I go back into the widget, you'll see my currency groups do not show anything as red or expired. That is because I have this color thresholds turned off for this group. I've deleted all the color thresholds, and thus the widgets do not know what status to give it, and it eliminates that group from the widgets. This is helpful for something, say, for example, say this logbook is a regional pilot. They don't hardly ever fly tailwheel. They know their tailwheel landing currency is expired. They don't want it showing constantly in their widgets, so they've turned the color thresholds off so that their widgets will only show the currency and limit groups that are important to them. So that is what I wanted to show you about the color thresholds. Heather showed you all the stacking. One thing I do want to point out about stacking is that not only can you stack all of the LogTen Pro widgets with each other, but you can stack any widget of the same size, regardless of whether it is, and then I got to put it in a jiggle mode here, regardless of whether it's a LogTen Pro group or not. So here I have a clock app, a weather app, and my next flight in one widget stack. You can also stack widgets of the same size together. So here I have notes, and I have my plan overview widget. So that can clean it up a little bit when you use those stacks.
Very cool. Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? Heather, are you up, or is Thomas doing auto duty now?
Well, we rearranged a little bit, and Thomas showed stacking of different kinds of widgets together of the same size, which was what I was going to do as well. Another widget that you guys might find helpful is Arrow Weather. Has a number of widgets on one of the paid plans, and I found that a couple of those are really nice to be able to stack into the LogTen widgets. Should I demo it just really quickly, or should we move into auto duty?
I think actually we could move to auto duty. We did. There's a number of, but what was that again? What was the name of it?
Arrow Weather, which I'm sure many are likely already familiar with.
There you go.
Well, a little unintentional plug for them, but they've got METAR TAF in the raw data format, and then a translated format, and this metogram widget, which is kind of neat in a mini size and a large size.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So should we shift over to Thomas and look at auto duty?
Sounds good to me.
All right, so in our latest release of Griffon, there's one other feature that we want to highlight. and that is predictive duty based on scheduled times. Hopefully you're all looking at my Mac app of LogTen Pro. This is a Mac-only feature, and let me show you how it works. For those of you that import your schedule beforehand, and I am going to copy and paste a schedule. So you can see this logbook doesn't have any flights in June, but I have a sample of, I'm going to import a schedule for some July flights here. So I'm going to go to File, Import Schedule. And the schedule sample that I have is a Southwest schedule. I'm going to paste in the schedule. And you can see here that I have 7 flights I'm going to import. So down here in the bottom left is what we want to highlight: autofill duty and flight duty times for the defaults. You can have LogTen Pro predict your on duty and off duty and FTP start and FTP times. So let me click this on and show you how it imports. So I have a selection of July flights here that I just imported with scheduled times. And if you look here, you can see that LogTen Pro predicted on duty and FTP start based on my defaults for the first flight of the day. You can see there's 3 flights on the 21st. It did FTP end and off duty on the last flight of the day. And then for the next day, it did the same thing: on duty, FTP start, FTP end, off duty. And then on the 3rd day, there's just a single flight, and it put both on duty, FTP end, FTP start, and off duty in the same flight. Again, these duty default times are based on your settings. If you go to Preferences, Duty, these are the default times. This is set to have on duty 60 minutes before scheduled time, off duty 30 minutes after arrival. While this default is set for actual arrival times, this feature is made to use scheduled times. So it will use the scheduled times for arrival. It will use scheduled out and scheduled arrival. FTP similarly has default times as well. These are the default offsets that it used when it put these times in. You may be asking, how does LogTen Pro know where my duty day ends and starts? So what LogTen Pro is doing here is it's looking for blocks of 8 hours between scheduled flight times. So, and it assumes that any 8-hour break is separates the duty days. One thing to note with these is that when you do go through and actually import your actual times, is to go back and make sure your duty times are set to the actual times so you can reset these things. The other thing I want to show you this feature is if you import your schedule from a third-party app, I'm going to go ahead and delete these flights. Say you use a third-party app on and you import your schedule. So then you already have your schedule. So what I'm going to do is re-import these flights, but I'm not going to predict the duty. So I'm going to re-import this without the duty. So let's say this is somebody that imported their schedule some other way, or just manually entered the flights in advance. You can still use this feature by highlighting all the flights. This is called Batch Edit, and this is a Mac feature. Go to the Logbook tab, tell it to autofill duty for this selection of flights, and it'll do the same thing using the Batch Edit feature. Again, this is a really powerful tool that you can use to look in advance to make sure all your duty limits are good for your scheduled flying in the future.
Awesome. Love it, Thomas. All right. So that, I think, does it. Yeah. Anything else from you, Heather? Are we kind of there in terms of covering those new features of the latest version of LogTen? Hoping that all of you are enjoying or have enjoyed using them already, and certainly will after the live stream. So thanks a lot for joining in. I can't remember if we had a few questions come in, but I think we were going to cover those directly with people. Thomas, you did cover a little bit around the duty rest currency limits. Well, covered quite a bit on that, which was one of the questions that came in, more info on that. What I did want to just add in here is I'll turn us all back on so you can see us. There we go, we're back. And just to remind everybody that you can access our support team at any time. Just on iOS, tap more, help, then contact support. Fantastic support team who would help you with any issues that you have, and are answering questions very quickly these days. So please feel free to connect direct via LogTen Pro. You can, on the Mac, you just hit the help menu and then contact support. So just anytime you're in LogTen Pro, please feel free to contact the support team. Are there any of those questions we want to cover, that any other things you guys might want to cover? Just otherwise we'll kind of open it up, see if there are any questions from anybody online. Yeah, let me know. Team, anything?
I was quickly going to say there was a question from Johan asking if we could add route information into the widgets. And I wanted to say thank you for the suggestion, Johan. If you're here or not here, maybe you'll watch this recording once we publish it, but I have submitted that suggestion to our engineers, so thank you for submitting that.
Oh yeah, we were gonna look at, I don't know if I can put you on the spot, Heather, to just show the route or the kind of recommended way to track route in LogTen, just in terms of where that can be put and how it can be entered for to ensure best use of the overall app.
Definitely.
Or maybe Thomas has to do that because he's got the. Oh no, you could do it. You could do it on. Do you want to do it on iOS?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. Add to stream. Boom.
All right. So for those of you who are flying multiple legs per day, we have seen in the past that one of the ways to log those flights would be to create a very long flight and just put the intermediary flights as part of the route field, which I believe is what Johan is asking. So if we're looking at the next flight widget, we're seeing there's one tomorrow from Seattle to Portland. Not much between there for the route, but say you're flying cross country or multiple times back and forth. The request has been put in there, but for most intents and purposes, you're going to get the best results if you're flying multiple legs in one day by entering each of those flights as its own entry. So if I tap on next flight, we can see this is actually a flight from Seattle to Portland and then from Portland back to Seattle. So it's a round robin. And now when you look at that in reports and a variety of other reports and summaries and places, you're going to be able to see all of the data. If you're logging approaches and landings for currency and things like that, it's going to update properly. But say you wanted to even edit any of this information so that you can see the route field, if this is something that we add in the future, I'm sure we all know, but we can go into configure fields. The route field is here in the flight section, which is on top. We can scroll down and turn that route field on. And then back here is where that route field is going to show up, and you can enter in route data there. But like I mentioned earlier, the best way to log multiple trips, multiple legs within a trip would be to log each of those individual legs as separate entries.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Heather.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, I don't think we have any other questions coming in online. As the marketing guy, I'll add an apology due to some of the stuff that's happened that affected us this morning. I didn't get the messages out quite as timely as I should have for the people interested in being in the live stream, but I will definitely get the message out to everybody afterwards. This is recorded as we spoke about, and you can definitely get in touch with any questions you have, not just about widgets or auto duty, but pretty much anything you want to ask about LogTen or importing into LogTen. We're standing by to help you out. So with that, I guess we can say goodbye. All right. Well, let's wave and say goodbye. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining in.
Thanks, everyone.
Right on.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, take it easy. Bye. Oh, I think I lost Heather. We're live still. I thought I ended.